goodness. We are on the Life and Health Show today, and we want to welcome those who are joining with us this beautiful day. Very dark and gloomy here, but yet still beautiful. Thank you for being with us and joining us any point or any time in this video when you join. We want to welcome you again to the Life and Health Show. And my name is we are actually the Octanes to make it easier. How was your day? How was your week, honey?
As usual.
As usual.
It was busy, but
Busy. Yeah,
it was good overall.
it was good overall, and I like that. Busy is good because I'm pretty sure you are bringing some money, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
As long as you're bringing money, busy is good. Unless you're doing charity, busy is good. All right, mine was also busy as we both involved in a lot of things. And that being said, we have a packed show today. We want to zoom straight into the show. Yes, so our main title, our main topic for today is managing blood sugar, the role of diet. That's what we're talking about today. Managing blood sugar, the role of diet. Whether or not you're diabetic, because you got to make sure that your blood sugar is on point. All right, so that's what it is. We can go straight ahead into the show. All right, so the first thing is, let's see our show outline. We're going to talk, the first thing is going to be about carbs and glycemic index. And then we're going to talk about balancing your diet, how to balance your diet.
Then we continue with the role of fiber and portion control.
Role of fiber and portion control. And then, if we have more time, we will talk about meal timing and meal regularity, as well as hydration. So, this, as I said, each one of these items on our slider here can be a whole show by itself. But if we do, then you're going to be tired of us because we've been talking about diabetes every week. So we don't want to do this. So we're going to pack a little bit of everything in here, the most important ones, and hopefully we can move on to another subject in diabetes and hopefully finish that season as soon as possible. But that being said, we are still going to be detailed, You just have to pay attention. And if you know anybody who is diabetic or anybody who you think may benefit, this is a good time to share the link with them or share the channel with them, because it's a lot of fun to talk about these things that will help us. That being said, let's move on. So the first one that I want to draw your attention to is, if you have not liked the show, you got to like the show. If you have not subscribed to the show, remember to do that. And that's about it, just so that we can reach more people. When you hit the like and the thumbs up button, more people see it, and it's not like we are just doing nothing. More people will benefit. All right, so that is it. So the first thing we're going to talk about on our slider then is we're going to talk about carbs. As we mentioned, carbs, and we're going to break into two. We got simple sugars and complex sugars. Carbohydrates, basically, it's the carbs for short. All right, so I'll give you a chance to talk a little.
Yeah, so I think we should be able to make connection between the food that we eat and the level of the blood glucose. So there is a direct connection between whatever we consume and the level of blood sugar. So if we know that linkage, that is a direct effect, we will tend to understand things differently. So the first one that we are talking about is carbohydrates. Carbohydrates, how consuming carbohydrates directly affects your glucose level, whether you are a diabetic or you are not diabetic. So we have two types of carbohydrates. We have the simple carbohydrates and the complex carbohydrates. So what we're trying to say today is, if you consume the simple carbohydrates, which is the simplest form of sugar, yeah, the simplest form of sugar, which is what the glucose. If you consume the simple form of it directly, there is a spike in your blood glucose. So the simple one tend to be something that we are not encouraging if you want to control the levels of your blood sugar. The reason being that if you consume the simple carbohydrates, it's easily absorbed into your bloodstream, and that spikes the level of your sugar.
All
And
right.
the complex one is a better choice because because it's because of its complexity, it's not absorbed quickly or rapidly into the bloodstream. It's slowly absorbed because it's complex. It's not in the simple form. So as we are learning, in order for you to control your blood sugar, you have to know the kind of carbohydrates that you are consuming. So I think as we continue, we will mention some of the simple carbohydrates and the complex carbohydrates.
All
Right?
right, all right. I think you even mentioned some, but I'll add more now. So some of the simple ones you already mentioned, the
The
glucose
glucose.
itself or the sugar itself. If you are drinking, whether it's tea, coffee, or you're drinking soda, the sugar that's in there are basically simple sugars because they don't need a lot of work to break them down. So that is as easy as that. If it is simple, it means that it's been broken down to almost no need to break down anymore. So from sucrose, dextrose, and then glucose itself, those are so simple that your body gets it and it's like, oh, this thing, I know what it is. Boom, 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 boom. And it's gone into your blood and you're spiking up. Your blood glucose is spiked up because you are doing those simples. But if you choose the complex ones like what we are looking on our screen, this complex carbohydrate, even though it's beans, has proteins, it still has carbohydrates in there. Even before you can even eat this, before your stomach, even you yourself, before you can even eat it, you have to cook this for a long time for it to be softer. And then once it's soft, you have to also chew it. You can't just swallow it. You have to chew it to break it down even further to smaller units. And then when it goes into your belly, your stomach has to use some acids to break down the fibers that are in there, the chunks that are in there before your body can pick up any glucose from this. So before your blood glucose goes up from this, you would have had to eat a lot of this for your glucose to shoot up. Why? Because it's complex. It's a complicated thing for your body to break this down to glucose right away. Unlike when you're eating something that has added sugar, real sugar or sucrose or dextrose or whatever form of sugar is added. That one is so simple. Your body sees that, oh man, this is it. I'm done, and then your sugar spikes up.
Okay.
So those are the differences: the complex and simple sugar. So if you are watchful of your blood glucose, then we are going to suggest that you include more of the complex carbohydrates, which examples are, beans, lentils, roots, some of the roots, we will tell about, we say a little bit about the difference. Not all the roots are complex, but for the most part, we can call them complex because they are not, broken down into the simplest units. But if you are eating, even plantain, you're eating yuca or cassava, you're eating yam, those are a little more complex than to eat something that is a little more broken down into its simplest form. So that is what you should eat if you are diabetic or if you want to watch your sugar levels. Eat the complex forms. The only thing is, honey, sometimes the complex forms, they use machines to break them down to make it so simple that it becomes almost as if it is a simple sugar. So if you are, for example, if you're going to buy a cup of beans and they already have put it through the mill and made it a powder, though the fibers and complexity is still there somewhat, it still has been broken down so much that you may pick up more glucose from that compared to if you had cooked it yourself and are eating it or chewing it yourself to break it down. Right?
Yeah.
All right. So
Yeah. So, like during the day, let's take a day, for instance, in the morning when you wake up and you want to make a cup of tea, right? Or coffee, and you want to add the Dunkin' Donuts with it. You know, So you make your tea or your coffee, you put in the simple sugar, right? In its simplest form. So you have sugar in there. The amount of sugar that you use is even the starting point for the day. So if you're going to use a whole lot of sugar, it means that you're going to spike your blood glucose right away from the morning. Then you're going to top it with the donuts, with the glaze, and with all the added sugar. Sometimes you can really see the sugar on top of the donut, So all this added sugar just for the breakfast, is so huge that your blood sugar is spiked right away in the morning. So if you want to watch your sugar level, those are the things that you have to pay attention closely. So morning breakfast, instead of going for the plain white sugar, you want to maybe replace it with something more complex. Like, so if you talk about white bread, I think we will go more into detail. The white bread can be absorbed quickly and directly into your bloodstream. You can go with something more like complex, like the whole grain, so that it doesn't get absorbed quickly and spike your sugar. Instead of using sugar, maybe you can use honey, or maybe you can do without sugar altogether.
I'll do without sugar altogether. Do without sugar altogether if you can. Now, the reason why I'm saying that is, somebody from church drew my attention to the fact that drinking coffee black was not that bad at all. And when this person told me, I tried it. I'm like, oh, this is not that bitter. But if you look at a cup of coffee black in there, you may think it's so bitter. As a matter of fact, he told me that when you drink it that way, you feel the flavor of the coffee more than to add sugar to it and to add, cream to it. You blunt it. You get it blunt and you really don't feel the flavor of the coffee. So no matter what you are eating or drinking in the mornings or through the day, avoid adding sugar. The key is added sugar. Sometimes, like she said, you don't add it. The companies may have already added it. If you are eating a donut, the sugar has been already added. You don't even have control over it. It is in there. So then the best option is to avoid eating donuts, right? Because if you eat it, you got a sugar. As a matter of fact, even those that are not sugary donuts, they have sugar. If you look on the packaging, that's something that I do all the time. Just grab the wrapper and look at how much sodium or how much sugar is added, and then that will tell you that, you have less control. And so for you to actually pick up a tablespoon to add real sugar to something, come on, man. That thing should be done. If they will get you from eating sugar, it should be the sneaky ones that they add that you don't know. But if you yourself are picking up a tablespoon of sugar, a teaspoon of sugar, and adding it to your tea, your porridge, your coffee, or whatever it is, then today, unless you don't care about your blood sugar levels, but if you do care, this is the time to avoid it. All right. So we move on to the next one. Now, the next thing we are going to talk about, which is actually in relation to this, is what we call glycemic index. We want to break it down why we even say this, because this is very important. This is how we are able to, tell that the food we are eating is going to actually mess up our blood sugar. And so for glycemic index, all we are trying to understand is how quickly is the food that you are eating converting to glucose in your blood. When you eat anything, it ultimately comes up in your blood as, any of the macronutrients that we know. So if you are eating carbohydrates, the type of carb you're eating, how quickly, how fast does it get into your blood? And that is what it means to have a glycemic index. So the higher the glycemic index, it means that that food gets blood sugar higher quickly. As a matter of fact, if you eat it, it gets converted to glucose in your blood quickly, right?
Yep.
So that is what that means. So it's no biggie. You don't have to think that it's a huge word. It's not. It's nothing really big, but definitely how much or quickly the body gets the sugar into the blood because of what kind of carb it is. So with that, the first thing we are seeing there, it's rice. This is polished rice, and then the next one here, we are talking about examples now. So these food groups are foods that have high glycemic index, or forget about the term, foods that convert to sugar quick in your blood. These are the foods. And not all of them, but these are the common ones that we think our viewers may know. And the first one, as we said, was the white rice, especially if it's polished. And the second one is what?
The
White bread, right?
white bread that is showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the white bread has a high glycemic index, meaning that uh, the time that it takes to convert into your bloodstream is very quick. So that's the index, that's the measure of how fast that carbohydrates that you are eating convert to blood sugar in your bloodstream right away. So how quickly it's converted to blood sugar is the index. That's what we use to measure. So we've divided it into high glycemic index foods and low glycemic index foods. So we are talking about the high glycemic index foods, which is for the white rice and the white bread. And also, I think we've listed what the potatoes and sugary cereals.
These are some of the common ones. There are more, depending on where you come from or the kinds of foods you eat. But for this show, I think everybody knows white bread, everybody knows white rice, everybody knows potatoes, and other sugary cereals. If you are buying cereal for breakfast and you think that, because they say cereal is good for your heart, especially if it's Cheerios, and if there's sugar in there, the glycemic index is high. So you're actually shooting up your sugar levels, even though you think you're eating cereal in the morning. And even that, you may not add sugar to it, but if it is already sugary, it is still something with a high glycemic index, as well as the potatoes. And I think I have an idea why these foods convert quickly into your blood as glucose. It's because most of them are polished. Most of them they, there's like processing. That's the word I was looking for. Most of them have been processed. If you look at white rice, it's been stripped of every fiber that it could potentially have, and so it's been broken down for your belly. So your stomach, your intestines see it, and there's no barrier, there's no challenge to them. It's like pouring water directly into the blood because they don't see any resistance to breaking it down. They break them down quickly, and then the intestine pick them up as glucose into your blood. And that is why these foods increase your sugar levels. So if you are watchful, or if you want to be watchful of your blood sugars, if you are diabetic and you're eating white bread, oh, come on, man, you got to stop right now. Today, you got to stop today. And if you are not diabetic and you are also getting older, 40s, 50s, you must stop eating white bread, because it's actually going to get you somewhere close. Even if you don't get diabetes, you're going to get, fat. You're going to get all those things that you don't want. So processing destroys the foods, and it makes the high glycemic index that we are talking about. So these are the examples. You can add more, and we'll go to, in the interest of time, we'll go to the next group, which is the low glycemic index foods. Now, that means that these food groups, when you eat, they stay in your body for a long time without spiking or increasing your blood sugar levels. And do you want to explain why?
Yeah, so because of its complexity, right? Some of them have fiber, it has other things added to it. So, like you said, it's not direct. It's going to take longer time for your body to be able to break it down, and it takes longer time for it to be absorbed. So that process is slower because it has a low glycemic index. Because of that nature of the food, it's not quickly absorbed into your bloodstream. It takes a time for your body to process it, break it down, and absorb it. So these are the foods that we are encouraging everybody to eat more. We are working on it with the white rice. I love my rice, and I don't know. So I'm trying not to eat too much of it, cut it off altogether, but I can't. So I'm trying to cut it down, or maybe try quinoa, which people are saying that a lot of people are saying is really healthy, and it's kind of equivalent to rice. So if you want to make a lot of changes to your diet, these are the foods that we recommend that you do so that you don't spike your blood sugar. So the quinoa, we have the sweet potatoes. We mentioned the potato earlier. That is the white potato that has a high glycemic index. So with the low one is the sweet potato one. So your system doesn't absorb it directly. It takes its time. It's slowly absorbed into your bloodstream. And also what's the steel cut oat. So the oat form is like in the fiber state. It has a lot of fiber. So your body slowly absorb into its system. And the legumes, which is the lentil and the chickpeas, which is all healthy forms of food that we can incorporate in our diet.
All right, all right, all right, all right. All right. So quinoa, and sweet potato. The sweet potato, though, that uh, if I had not also read it, I wouldn't have believed because I eat it and I've usually feel guilty because it's sweet. As it says, sweet.
Mm-mm.
So for it to have sweet potato, I think I'm gonna have more of that.
More,
All right.
yes.
I like sweet potatoes. And some of the ideas that you can have with sweet potato, even though she does it, but since she didn't say it, I'm going to say it. Have your salmon, baked salmon, and with sweet potato cut on top of it. Or sometimes you replace the sweet potato with what?
With
Squash.
squash.
With squash.
Yeah.
So not so much, but it fills you, and it tastes good. Actually, the potato itself is sweet, as the name goes, but um, it's important to know that some food will not raise your blood sugar. It's going to take a while before all the glucose in it is absorbed, and by the time it's all absorbed, it's already gone through your GI tract and you pooped it out already. Unlike the regular white potato, whether it's mashed or baked or boiled, it is like fire for the belly. The body sees it and the sugar is going to spike. So even though it's not processed, but for some reason, it's easier for the belly to take care of it. And so that has a higher glycemic index as against the sweet potato, which has a low glycemic index. And then what else did you talk about? The legumes and the chickpeas and steel cut oats also are all important sources. You can replace most of the things you already have with these. So it's not like so hard to do. You replace them. If you're already eating baked potatoes, maybe switch to sweet potatoes. If you're already eating regular oatmeal and you thought oat was good, it's good. So maybe you should now look on the box and buy steel cut oats, which has more of the fiber and then also not processed, with any chemicals or anything like that. That is a healthier option.
And
And
if
that
you're doing what? Rice,
if you are doing
you have
rice,
your nice stew. Instead of cooking rice, try the quinoa with the rice and see how you may like it. And that another thing with the low glycemic index too is that you stay full longer because like we are explaining, it doesn't get absorbed quickly. So you stay full. Sometimes you feel hungry. You're like, I haven't eaten for some time. For all that you know, you are thirsty. You drink water and you
it's
don't feel
recharged.
hungry because of the low absorption of the food that you are eating. So sometimes you can eat a bowl of white rice and by the time that you get up, you're still hungry because everything is absorbed quickly and directly into the bloodstream. But if you replace it with something else other than the white rice, I think we can talk about the brown rice too, right? So the
Yeah,
brown
you can replace it
rice,
with brown rice.
yeah, you can replace with the brown. I don't really like brown rice. But if you want,
Whatever you like.
yeah, so you have to, in order to know that you are not spiking your blood sugar, you have to reduce all the white stuff, the starchy stuff, with a little more brown and whole substance, so that you are able to control your blood sugar.
Some people are even making artificial rice, I should say, off of was it squash or something like that. They grate it,
Cauliflower,
rather cauliflower. They grate it,
cauliflower
and it's like,
rice.
and I don't know how it tastes. But if you are on the borderline, come on, man, don't say it doesn't taste good. It tastes good. Come on, let's go try it. You have to try to know which one works for you. But I mean, we are laughing and joking about this. If you are actually facing diabetes, this is a serious stuff.
Yeah.
You know, people have done these small changes and have been able to reverse their diabetes, or they have gotten their numbers improved. So much as we're playing like, I mean, this is serious. So please, um, watch out. Don't get diabetes if you're not already diabetic, and if you are, watch these things and make sure that you substitute most of the processed foods that you have. Now, one way to tell whether a food is with high glycemic index or not, or low glycemic index or not, is if it is processed. So we like we said, we don't have time to list all the foods there, and we don't know all the foods you eat. So the first question you have to ask yourself: does it increase your blood sugar level? You know, when you eat and you check your blood glucose, is it always high? Probably it's a high glycemic index food. And if you're not diabetic, but you want to just watch out and protect yourself from becoming diabetic, then the question you have to ask yourself is this food processed? How many processes have this food gone through before it gets to my home? You know, has it been crushed? Has it been cut into pieces? Has it been peeled off, which they usually do to make it look nice and put in a can? All those make it more sugar, prone. It makes the glycemic index go up. So if you buying your food in the natural state, not processed, right from the ground or right from the leaves, packaged and shipped to your house or bought from the shelves without any chopping into any smaller units or grating or cleaning. Well, clean, they gotta clean it. You gotta wash it, right? But I'm talking about without peeling off the skin, without putting it in the can to seal it to last for a long time. All those things make it easier for your body to absorb it too quick and spike your blood glucose levels. So that will be your key to judge whether or not a food is most likely going to have a high glycemic index or most likely going to raise your blood sugar or spike your blood sugar or not. If it is not processed, if it is in the natural state, most likely you are doing the right things. You are doing the right things. But of course, apart from potatoes, with the example of potato, it may still be and still have the problem of glycemic index with it. But that you will only find out if you have diabetes and you check, or if you read about it or you watch videos about it, and people say like we are telling you right now. So,
And also, if you love bread, we're talking about white bread,
I
right?
like that, bro.
You can. We talked about almond bread last time, how to make almond bread. Nowadays, because of YouTube, a lot of recipes are available. If you want to do almond bread, do you just put your ingredients together instead of using the white flour? Now you're using the almond flour, which is more. It has a low glycemic index, and you can use that as your breakfast instead of buying the regular white bread, which has a high glucose levels.
Definitely. And you
Or
can,
maybe you can do the whole grain bread too, right?
yes, you can do the whole grain, multi-grain bread. With the grains in there, makes it not easy for your belly to just digest it. And the white bread, the reason why it's white is because it's been processed. They took out a lot of the fiber from it, and so you are seeing those things. But if you get the whole grain or multi-grain bread, we're not going to say wheat bread anymore. I used to like wheat bread until now we're talking about something that's a wheat bread. So not wheat bread, but at least
Whole
whole
grain.
grain or multi-grain bread, or any substitute, almond bread. Is that what you
Almond
mean?
bread, yeah.
And any other ones that you can find or make yourself, then it will be good. It will not be those that shoots up your blood sugar levels at all. So that's a very important thing. I think we have one comment here. I'm gonna put it up and see. Uh, Ben Zeki says when sweet potatoes are eaten raw, rather help to bring your glucose down.
Blood sugar.
Try it. It tastes so good. I see. I didn't know. Let me read it well. So when sweet potatoes, let me just read it again. I think I probably didn't read it. When sweet potatoes are eaten raw rather than to cook it, right? It helps bring your blood sugar down. Try it, and it tastes so good. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. That is a good advice. We are going to try it. I eat it,
Raw.
so I'm going to try it raw and see what you're saying. If it tastes good, because my black goose is good, but I'm going to see about the taste. And I also point to you that cut it on top of salmon and bake it with other spices like this beautiful woman has been doing for me. That also tastes good. It tastes good with salmon. All right. So yes, let's help each other. I like that. I like that very much. All right. So now we are going to go to the next one, unless you have another point to say. Okay. So next one on our list of things we want to do is balancing your diet. If you are concerned with the blood sugar levels, what about balancing your diet will help? All right. You want to talk about this person?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, when we talk about balancing your diet, there are macronutrients. There are certain food groups that have to be included with your diet all the time. We talk about proteins, we talk about carbohydrates, and we talk about fats. But then I'll go back and say them again. We talk about healthy proteins, talk about healthy carbs, and we talk about healthy fats. Because you can find proteins, carbs, and fats everywhere. But the question is, are they the ones that will spike your blood glucose level or not? Are those going to increase your cholesterol level or not? We've spent more than a month on cholesterol. So much as we talking about balance or protein, carbs, and fat, we want you to qualify the kind of protein or the kind of fats or the kind of carbs that you are adding. And hopefully, if you do that right, you can see that your blood glucose levels will be tamed and your cholesterol levels will also be tamed, and you are on your way to heart health. So this example picture here is a very nice multi-grain bread with protein on top, which is the cut up eggs, and then there's avocado, but my green screen thing has removed it. Of course, you can't see the green, but you can see those balls back there. Those are avocados, and some tomatoes and some spices. This is a very healthy, balanced diet. But I'll leave you to tell us the portion. If you have a plate, how should they be?
Oh,
The
okay. So
balancing
we are
here.
talking about balanced diet. We don't want to dwell just on proteins, right? So all that you have is a big, like a whole chicken, and you just eat it all. If you have diabetes, we are not encouraging that. We are encouraging you to eat a balanced diet, and we are talking about carbohydrates. We're talking about good source of carbohydrates or low index carbohydrates. It's not just any carbohydrates. So you have to think about the kind of carbohydrates that you're using and the kind of protein that you are using. You're not getting the fatty and the oily and all that stuff. We even encourage you to stay away from the red meat, right? With our cholesterol discussion. And we also talk about the fat, the good fat oils. You don't want to use any kind of oil in your foods. You have to dwell more on the olive oil and the good source of oil, which can be found in avocados and stuff like that. So if you have a round plate that you want to fill on to eat, I think where we come from, the first one that we will grab is the carbohydrates. We will fill the whole plate with carbohydrates and put a little bit of meat here and a little bit of salad here. But what we are encouraging us to do is that if you have a round of plates, half of the plate should have your grains and your fats. So half, you divide your plate into half. You fill half of it with the grains and the fats, and the other half you divide it into two. So you have a quarter of the plate. One quarter will have the carbohydrates and the other quarter will have the protein. So if you do that, then you are balancing your diet. You're not just eating one kind of food, because you need all sources of foods to be able to function very well so that you wouldn't miss any nutrients that your body needs. So if you get that figured out, it depends on the size of plates too. Some people have huge,
My goodness,
huge
my
size of
goodness,
plates,
my
but
goodness. We're going to talk about portion size, right?
portion size, yeah. So however you want to do, you have to make sure that you are balancing your diet. You are including the carbohydrates, the protein, and the fats and oils.
That's what's up. That's what's up. All right. So balance your diet if you are careful, or if you want to be careful about your blood glucose levels. Don't forget your proteins, rich sources, including lentils and beans. Those are very rich sources. Of course, chicken, and we were talking about chicken, taking the skin off the chicken, you know, or whatever meat, making sure that the fat is not too much, because fat sources from animals are not the way to go. And then also, as she said, a quarter for what?
Your carbohydrates.
Carbohydrates.
Your rice, but not the white rice, right?
Not white rice. Come on, man. You like rice. I can tell you like rice. Not your white rice, but we've actually come a long way. Where we used to eat a lot of rice. These days, I think it's once a week or maybe less. And that one is just the special jollof rice that is done on Sundays. All right. So yeah, and then the fruits and veggies on one whole side, and that is where most of us struggle. Adding a whole half of the plate to be either salads cut up with some other fruits. We barely do that. We always reach out for the heavy starch. And if you are mindful of your health from today, especially if you don't want to get diabetes, or if you're diabetic and you want to get your numbers low, then obviously your half of your plate, if you forget everything, remember the half of your plate. So if you're eating fufu, half of the fufu here is veggies and sweet. Come on, man. And I know you guys are not going to tell me that the soup is the veggies. No, that soup is water. That soup is water. Soup here is very thick and chunky with beans and stuff. But the soup that we eat with fufu, it's not like that. That's light soup, and it's basically all water. And even for the people who use chunky beans and stuff for soup, it's full of salt. So we are not encouraging you to use that as your source of veggies and fruits. So basically, that is the key. If you forget anything, half of your plate, whatever food, it's not just dinner, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Wow. Half of each plate that you eat must contain fruits and veggies. Half of them, and then the other half you divide between proteins and carbs. If you are diabetic and you want to use the other half for protein, so be it. But of course, Gifty said that still reach out for a little bit, because there's a trick. You want your your insulin to always know that there's something to do there to digest, and that little bit of carbs will also help for that. But as long as it's a healthy carb, from your quinoas and the low index sweet potatoes, low index carbs, you will be fine. All right. So with that, unless you want us to add
and I think if you do the balanced diet too, it's absorbed slowly. I think, like we are trying to say.
That's a key.
So it's being absorbed slowly into your bloodstream. So if you have a balanced diet, your chance of getting hungry within an hour or two is taken off, because you've eaten a full diet, and you're feeding your cells, you're feeding the important part of your body. You are not just filling your belly, which some of the foods are just there to fill our bellies. We are trying to feed ourselves. We are trying to take in the important nutrients in foods. So if we do that, we don't easily get hungry, because we feel satisfied for a very long time.
Definitely. I like that. Like that's the key. The key is to eat and not be hungry too quick, and then reach out for more food or more snack. So if you do the balance diet with half of your plate being either leaves or fruits, those slow down the absorption of more glucose. So the body keeps those things there. Slowly, you get glucose so that you don't get hungry too quick. So that's a very good point you brought up there. All right. So the next one is the role of fiber. The role of fiber in a person whose diet, who is conscious about their diet because they are diabetic. What is the role of fiber?
Go ahead.
All right. So I think I may have already hinted you that if you are eating any foods that has been stripped of the fiber content, then you are reaching for the most of blood sugar from the foods you eat. In other words, let me state it again. If the food you are eating has been stripped of the fiber, then it's going to make your body so easy to get all the sugar in that food into your bloodstream. I think that was good. That's how I wanted it to sound. So what we want to say then is let's avoid processed foods. Now, what are processed foods? Some of the pictures are being shown in the video that you are seeing on the side. Processed foods are foods that have been made artificially. Somebody has made them and you buy them and you eat them. Processed, simple as that. So go to the chop bar, buy your fufu. It is processed, right? Somebody has already it's processed. Somebody has made it. It's processed. If you think about it in those simple terms, then you can see all the other things that you have to avoid. So buy a canned food, buy a donut, like people are saying, glazed with chocolate, like we can see. Buy waffles. It's been made by somebody. It is processed because somebody made it. It is the process of making it is a processing, and that is what breaks down the constituent ingredients to the lowest or simplest amount of sugar, so that your body can pick it up. It strips them all off the fiber. Fiber is there to protect it so that your belly takes the time to digest and absorb. But if it's processed like a burger, this bun on this burger is highly enriched flour because it's been processed. So if you eat this, like she said, you're going to be hungry quick. It's been processed. That means that all the sugar in it is going to go into your blood. Whatever food that is processed is the foods that have no fiber in it. So even look, this thing looks like it's good. Chips, right? A little bit of chips processed. You get so much into your blood, apart from the salt that they have added to preserve it from getting bad, from rotten, because it's going to sit on the shelf for a long time. Apart from that, which also is going to raise your blood pressure because of high salt level, it's also going to raise your sugar. So you are buying poison with money. Come on, man, don't do that. Buying poison to put in your mouth and paying them to give you poison. Processed meat, anything you can think about. If it is processed, there's sugar there. And the sad thing is, apart from the fact that your body can pick it up quickly, they also add more sugar to it to make it taste good. Oh, come on, man. They also add sugar to it, added sugar, including even, as I said last time, barbecue sauce. Look on barbecue sauce. Thanksgiving is coming. A lot of people are going to cook. Slow down on the barbecue sauce. My goodness. Slow down. The amount of sugar in it that you're going to pick up. Not talking about the sodium. Sugar alone is up there. So processing destroys the fiber, and fiber is your friend. Fiber is what keeps the sugar in your stomach and in your intestines and not in your blood. So if you are eating any processed food, that's what you're doing.
And how do we know something has a high content of fiber, right? You said anything processed has no fiber, maybe the fiber has been taken out. So anything in its natural state has a high content of fiber. So examples can be fruit. We have the apple showing on our screen. So apple in its natural state has a lot of fiber. So you can grab one apple and you eat it, and you are loaded with a lot of fiber in your system, which is very healthy because your body is going to, it has the sugar, all right, but the body is going to take its time to absorb the sugar into the bloodstream. If you think of vegetables, it's not been processed. It's in their natural state. We have the Brussels sprouts, we have the broccolis, we have the spinach. We have a lot of greens out there.
Legumes,
The cauliflower, the carrots, and all that. They are all in their natural state. So if you are going to incorporate that on your plate, which is half of the plate, definitely you are going to have enough fiber in your diet. So I think we are all trying, we are learning. Let's try to incorporate foods that are in their natural state instead of reaching out for the processed foods.
My goodness. And I have developed a new love for apples. say apples are my lunch now. You know, I can eat 2 apples and I'm good. Because no, come to think about it, I still get my sugar from apples. I'd rather get the sugar from the apples than to get it from a donut because the sugar from the apple is in its natural state. And because of the high fiber content there, though it may taste sweet, my body is not going to be able to pick it all up because the fiber is going to prevent it. But if I'm eating an artificially made substance on top of which sugar has been added, then you can bet that that sugar is going to rise in your blood. So the fruits are in their natural state: pears, apples, carrots, and broccoli sprouts, which sometimes can smell, but if you do it right, it's good.
Yeah.
And any of those fiber-rich content, leaves, salads, you know, all those things will fail you. It may not make you feel bloated like I'm full, I'm too full. No, if that's what you are reaching for, then you're gonna have to eat a lot of these. But a little bit of this is gonna make sure that you feel your best. You're not hungry and you're not starving, but you feel that you're okay because the sugar is releasing slowly into your body. That is what is going to happen with that. And I think we have another comment. We'll show that in a sec. But do you have anything else?
Yeah, and I think if you are diabetic and you are worried about your sugar level, instead of going for the red apple, maybe you can reach out for the
The
green
green
one,
apples.
which
Yeah.
has a little lower content of sugar in there, which will help give you the higher contents of fiber, which will control your sugar level. You reach out for the green apple instead of the other colors. Yeah.
All right. Right. We have a comment here and it says, Family of Hope, good night and thank you. I needed this as I got a message from my doctor on Friday to say I am at risk of diabetes. Oh, come on. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And I'm going to bet you that if you continue to watch and follow our programs, you will reverse your risk of diabetes. You're going to lose a little bit of pounds, a little bit of the weight. You're going to have a better diet and you're going to exercise because we're going to always tell you to. And we're going to help you because we want to make it fun. So make sure you are subscribed and we are going to roll together. And I'm telling you, you are going to reverse it. So no fears. No fears. You are going to overcome it. Yes, yes, yes. And actually, you asked a question. Let me put that question on. The question is, can it be reversed? And already we have answered it. Before I even saw that you had that question, yes, you can reverse it. And as a matter of fact, we have one of our people who last week actually told me that she has reversed her diabetes. She was full blown. She was diagnosed. Her A1C now is very low, and so it's possible. It's very possible. Just be following doctor's instructions. Do not decide to do things your own way, and watch and eat the things that we also tell you. If you have any questions, continue to ask on the lives and on our videos, and I know that you're going to reverse it so yeah, don't be afraid. It's doable. People have done it. I mean, I'm talking about as recently as last week. I spoke to this person and she was up there. She was way up there. Her A1C is great, and I'm pretty sure that you can do the same thing as long as you're willing to, because we got family to take care of. I like that, your family of hope. We got family to take care of, and we can beat this. And we encourage you to continue to watch. All right, so now let's move on to the next one. And I don't think I think we finished with the apple, right? With the
Yeah, with the a question that came up, I think we talked about the risk factors. I think that was our first video, the first video of diabetes. We talk about risk factors. So we mentioned that some people are at risk, and we mentioned some of the modifiable risk factors and non-modifiable risk factors. So if your risk is the modifiable one, then we are here to help. And if it's the non-modifiable one, we are also here to help. So stay tuned, and we have the right information to share with you. We are also learning and we are making life changes ourselves.
Definitely, definitely. All right, so let's see. The next one, I think we already talked about. Another role of fiber here is including foods that are rich in fiber will slow down the amount of sugar that your body can pick up. And we already discussed the steel cut oatmeals and fruits and vegetables are definitely the way to go. Now, when you are adding stuff like this, though, just make sure that it says no sugar added, especially um, there always the labels are on there, so you want to make your plate look nice, but make sure that they don't trick you because sometimes they'll make sure that you have stuff that is going to raise your blood sugar at the end. So if you're going to add this creamy thing there, it has to say sugar free, and you will be all set with
Yeah,
that.
I
The
think
orange will give you the sweetness. You don't need
right.
any food.
The yogurt.
That's it.
That's the yogurt,
Yeah,
right?
it's the
So the
yogurt. Yeah,
Greek yogurt is always way to go, and the
non-fat.
non fat one, the right way to go.
All right. So with that, I think we're going to go to the next way and of how to manage your um, sugar levels with diet. And before that, I think we have um, another comment. See if I can fit this in here. That is Brother Ben. See, oh, that is big. I don't think I can fit it at all. All right, I will try my best and read it. Let's see if you
Oh, the
can read
sweet potato, the benefits
the
of eating
benefits.
raw
Oh,
sweet
okay. All
potatoes.
right,
Okay.
all right, all right. I see what you're trying to do. It's good. The benefits of the sweet potato. You can, when the show is done, you can go into the comment section and you'll be able to read it all. We can read it on the screen for now. But I thank you so much, Brother Ben Zuki, for all that information. All right, so now let's move on to the portion control. So, one of the key ways of managing your blood sugar levels is to watch your portions, your portion size. Watch your portion sizes. And if you see the plate up, that's a better portion than the plate below, right? That's a way better portion than the plate below. Now, the thing is, it's not so hard. Sometimes we make it look like it's so hard. I'm going to be hungry. No, you're not going to be hungry, especially if you are including the stuff that we already discussed. If you are including your fibers, if you're including your fruits, you're including the leaves, you're including nuts, for the benefit of the good sources of oils, you're including avocado. You eat, I think I shared this experience last time. I'm not sure if you guys remember, but I, I did a breakfast that baffled me because previous to that, I would always think that I need a heavy breakfast. But all I did was I had a multi-grain bread. I cooked a couple of eggs, sliced those eggs, and then I cut up, I think a half, I don't remember what I used, all of it or half avocado. And then on my bread, I put the sliced eggs as well as the pieces of avocado, and then I used that with my coffee. And I was surprised I was not hungry. Why? Because the oils in the avocado is rich, and it filled me up. And the fact that the bread was multi-grain, it's not white bread, it also takes a while for the body to also burn that off. And then the egg had all the sorts of protein that I needed. And so you may think that, oh, I need a bowl of rice to be full. You don't. It's because you're eating only rice. That's why you need all of it. But if you're eating a little bit of rice and you're adding all the other goodies, you will be full. And the key thing that Gifty mentioned last time is that you are feeding yourself. You're not feeding your stomach. If you decide to fill your stomach, especially if you have eaten for a while and a big portions for a while and your stomach has become the standard is big, then it will continue to ask you to eat more. But it's okay if in the beginning you still have to fill it up a little bit, but slowly you make the cuts and make sure that your portions are in control and filling it up with the right stuff. If you have to eat a bowl as huge as this, make that half of the bowl veggies. And if your body would take all the veggies to make that happen, then so be it. you will see that eventually you begin to cut down. So portion size is very important in blood sugar control. And the other thing is, I think you may be thinking about it too, is the fact that you are eating good things doesn't mean it's always good if you eat all a bucket full of beans, like we said, because beans have a low glycemic index, because the sugar in there doesn't get in your blood as quickly as enough. So you say, oh, as for this one is good. So you eat a whole bowl of that. Then obviously your sugar is going to go up because you ate too much of it. Too much of everything is bad, right? Yeah. So though we know what kinds of food to eat, not the processed foods, just the right kinds of foods to eat. If you eat the right kinds of food, but you eat it too much, you eat too much of it, eventually your sugar will still go up. So much as you eat the balanced, the right ones, try and cut off the portions, especially if you are starting now. It's not going to be easy, but slowly, just making your eyes open and watching, you'll be able to cut down the portions and your sugars are going to come down. Yeah, that exhausts everything. Do you have anything
I
to
think
add?
so. Yeah. So the thing that is very I want to say again is that no, you have an idea of what to eat, and you are making sure. I think initially we were saying that you have to change your surroundings, right? You have to fill your pantry with all the good stuff, all the right choices. You are buying the right things into your household. So you have all the good stuff in the household, all right. But it seems your sugar is not being controlled. Check the portion size. Maybe you are eating too much of it,
Of the right stuff.
of the right stuff. So it can be the right stuff, all right, but the amount that you ingest also matters, because too much of everything, like we say, is bad. So it can be good, can be good source of food, good source of carbohydrates, the low index, but it seems you are taking too much of it. That could be the reason why you are not able to control your blood sugar, or why you are at a risk of being diabetic. So check the portion size. And as you said, sometimes it's not easy. And sometimes too, it's not like you are hungry, or maybe the amount of food that you've taken is not going to fill. Sometimes it's the mindset.
The mindset. Come
It's
on,
the
man. It's the
mindset.
mindset. The mindset. I
Yeah.
like that.
Because like they will say that, oh, I'm a guy, I have to eat like that 2 slices of bread that you were discussing, right? Just 2 slices. But you are a guy, so you have to do 4. There is not written anywhere
Not
that you
written
are
anywhere.
high, you are a guy, you have to double the size, the portion size. So you have to pick the right stuff, but you have to watch the portion
You
size.
have to watch your portion size. It's the portion control is the key to not just reducing your blood sugar levels. It's also going to help you with weight management. It helps you with your blood pressure control. It helps you with your cholesterol. It works across every spectrum of the health that we are talking about. So basically, portion. It's portion as well as exercise. But today we are on the on the portion. You know I'm an exercise guy, right? All right. So now let's see if we have any more. I think this is going to be the last one. The last one is meal regularity or meal frequency for short. It's making it easier for my tongue. Meal frequency. And if you want to control your blood glucose levels, there's a way you have to eat. There's time management when it comes to eating. Some people, especially from the culture that I'm used to, would say that, as for me, and we say it proudly, as for me, I eat once a day. Oh, yeah. But then when they sit to eat that once, they are eating all the 3 square meals into that one meal.
Yeah, you put it all
Oh,
together.
come on, man. that is not the way to go. So, if you want your blood glucose levels to be normal, what you do is you are actually tricking your body to release insulin around sometimes every day. So you eat breakfast, insulin will be released. You eat lunch, insulin is released. You eat dinner, insulin is released.
Snacks in between.
No snacks. No snacks. That was a trick question, right? No snacks, because snacks are the poisons that almost all the snacks are, you know, Processed. It's a key word I always forget. Processed snacks. Unless your snack is going to be an apple
Yeah, or
or
almonds,
almonds or
or
some kind of nuts, which
pistachios.
or pistachios,
Pistachios.
no salt, low salt pistachios, almonds, then yes, go for it.
Mm.
So that your glucose levels will be stable in your blood. But if you say that no, I'm gonna eat only one time, my work is such that when I wake up I gotta go, and the only time I can eat is dinner, um, you may not be doing yourself good because you are telling your body not to release insulin except at that time that you eat. And when you do that for a long time, you may get insulin resistant. And plus, the portions cannot be controlled because you're going to eat a lot. No matter how disciplined you are, if you are eating only once a day, you will make sure that you are full. And that always ends up not being good. So definitely eat. So I guess my recommendation, our recommendation
Mhm.
is that if at all possible, eat more frequently in the day, smaller portions,
Portion size.
at least 3 times a day. And then in between, you can eat your nuts, you can eat your almonds, you can eat your pistachios, you can eat whatever kinds of nuts, as long as it's not too much salt. You can eat your fruits, you can eat your veggies in between also. That way, you stay regular, you make your glucose levels stable.
I think the scary part is the one-time meal too is at the night time.
Mm,
So maybe you are gone for the whole day and you've been hungry the whole day because of your job. You don't you don't carry a lot of like healthy foods with you. So you come home and that's the time, to overdo it. And after you've ingested, like you've taken all this, maybe you put in your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner all at one sitting, and you have all eaten all that. There is no activity after that. You
mm,
just go and lie down and straight to bed. That you are not doing yourself any favors. You are bound to build insulin resistance. So, as busy as you are, I think we had a nutritional list last time,
mhm.
and she's like, you have to plan. There is no way. You have to meal plan. You have to plan ahead how your meal is going to be like tomorrow on today. Like today, you have to plan what you are going to eat tomorrow so that you know what you are prepping for, what you are sizing up for. So you go grocery, you have all ready for tomorrow meal. You don't just wake up and just start eating anything that is available, so that you be more attentive to what you are eating and the timing. And also I will throw in the intermittent fasting.
Mhm.
So if you wake up in the day and you break your fast at 7 a.m. and you are going to eat throughout 7 a.m. till bedtime, that is more than like almost more than 12 hours a day. Maybe you have 16 hours that you are awake, are walking about and doing your thing. And if you are going to be eating throughout that period, it's likely that you are going to take in more food during that day. But if you are going to do this intermittent fasting, which some people have used to reverse their diabetes, it means that you wake up in the morning, you're not going to break your fast at 7 a.m. Maybe you can hold up a little bit and push it to 12 o'clock at noon. That's when you break your fast. So you train your body in such that your body knows that the insulin is going to be released after 12. That's your breakfast. It's not necessarily like we used to think that you wake up in the
Have
morning,
to eat
you
it.
have
Yeah.
to eat breakfast. That has been proven not to be true. So if you are going to break your fast, which breakfast is at 12 o'clock, that's when your insulin has been prompted to work on your body. So between 12 noon, and you are going to bed at 10 o'clock, it means that you've limited the hours that you are likely to eat, so that the amount of food that you're going to eat at that period of time is shortened, so that your chance of eating more or overeating has been also reduced. So thinking about intermittent fasting is also a good way to go. And the more that you do it, your body get used to it, and you are able to control your intake of food every day.
Oh, come on, man. That's good. That's another good point. Intermittent fasting. That's very, very true. And she made it hard. Some people cannot break their fast at 12. You can start at 9
Mhm.
and then push it up an hour per week. Start saying that, hey, I'm not eating breakfast until 10 a.m. every day. And before you know, you'll get used to it so quick. And then, but the key thing is you don't eat that meal that you missed at 7 with the 10 a.m. meal, right? So you just eat what you would have ate for breakfast. Because, like you said, technically you are just breaking your fast later.
Yeah.
Kind of like you're still sleeping, you're not up yet, but that's the time you're going to eat. And so don't add up anything to it and say that, oh, but I didn't eat at 9. I didn't eat. No, 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 no. That's not what you're saying. That's not what we are saying. If you used to break your fast with a cup of coffee and you're breaking your at 7 or 8 and you are breaking your fast this time at 12, you do the same. You can change it to something else, but you don't double up and say that because I didn't have anything in the morning, since I'm eating late, I have to add it. No, that defeats the purpose. And that's a big point you brought up. A lot of people have reversed their diabetes or made their blood glucose better through intermittent fasting. The caveat is that if you are a full blown diabetic and you're on medication, you have to work with your doctor about intermittent fasting. Because if you don't eat and you're diabetic, at some point you can actually develop low blood sugar, and that can lead to troubles. So, if for your case, what you can do is to do it slowly. Maybe instead of not eating at all, you can say, I'm going to eat just salad. Instead of saying that nothing at all, I'm going to eat salad or I'm going to eat nuts, so that at least you still have some amount of glucose in there. And then you check your body to see how you react to it. If it becomes unbearable, then add a little bit of something to it, so that you can carry on with your day. But trust me, whatever little change you make, if you do it over a long period, you will see results. So don't say that, oh, but that's not much. Yeah, if your body can take it, start with that and then improve upon it. Once you get used to it, you're going to do better in the future. So I think that's what that was. Let's see if we have any more on our slide to share. See, oh, the last point I think is hydration. Hydration is also important if your blood glucose levels are high or if you want to reduce your blood glucose levels. Make sure you are drinking enough fluids, but not all fluids, just enough of the good fluids, which we will call water. Water. You want to say anything?
Yeah, so I think we were talking about how much water is recommended because sometimes people I heard or overdid it to a point that they started drowning
In their own
in
fluids.
their own fluids, which we don't want that. So I think the calculation out there that people throw out there is you divide your weight by 2. So if you are 200 pounds, you divide it by 2 and you get 100 pounds, right? So the 100 pounds you convert it to ounce. So it's just 100 ounce a day. And 100 ounce is basically around 12
Cups.
12 cups of water a day. And I think 12 a cup is 8 ounce. And the full bottle, I think, is 240 ounces. So if you can go through like 6 in a day, which
240 mLs.
yeah, which is doable. I try. Sometimes it becomes a little hard for me, but if you can try, even if you're not able to get to that amount, you are hydrating to the point that you feel that you are not taking less, but at least you're trying to get to the accepted levels. So if you are 160 pounds, is it means that you have to take in 80 ounces of water. You divide your weight by 2, and in ounce form, you try to take as much water as possible. So overall, they are saying the females, they are recommended to take 11
Cups.
cups of water a day, and the males are more like 13 cups a day. So if you can try and do it, for all that you know, you may not be hungry, but sometimes our body will be like, oh, I'm hungry, but for all I know, it's just a thirst. So instead of reaching for the sugary drinks, you reach for water and you try to stay as hydrated as possible.
All right, all right, all right, all right, all right. So that's it. Hydrate as much as possible and avoid sugar sweetened beverages. All the sugar, if you are drinking Coke, it's out. You're drinking Fanta, you're drinking any kind of soda, you have to stop right now. I mean, you were talking about not raising your blood sugar and you are drinking sugar. No way, come on, man. We got to stop that one. That has to go. That has to go. And we start off from your home. If there is any purchase of juices and sodas and any alcoholic beverages, anything that has sugar in there in your fridge, I'm not saying drain it now, but maybe when you finish it, don't buy anymore. Don't buy anymore. Yes, definitely don't buy any more. That's it. Not even for the kids. The kids will trick you. We want their juice, juice, juice. No, you can juice it yourself then, if anything at all. Buy a juicer and make it home so you won't have to add any sugar. Because whatever thing you buy, they have added sugar to it. And you don't want that to be lingering around and have you reach for it. And as she said, these cups may seem that's a lot. But if you are drinking tea or coffee or any porridge, it's included, right?
Yes.
So maybe in the morning or your breakfast is a cup of coffee. That's part of the water. So don't be like, no, 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 I can't. Yeah, it's included. If you are drinking a bowl of soup, it's all liquid. It's part of the water you are drinking. The key is that whatever liquid substance you drink, there should be no sugar added. No sugar at all. That defeats the whole purpose of the stock. We want our blood sugar to go down, and you are drinking sugar. No way, no way. All right, and I hope you are not going to do that. So yeah, I think that is about the last one. Next week, God willing, we are going to try and hit another interesting topic concerning diabetes. We're going to hit on exercise and diabetes, a perfect pair. How exercise can be used if you have diabetes or if you don't want to get diabetes in that respect. That's going to be another fun show. And so let's look out for that. And we should be good on that one. Now, with that being said, I think we have a last a comment. If you have any comment or any question, you can still add it before we close out. The family of Hope said, thank you to you both. Thank you for watching. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for joining us on the live today. We have a bunch of other videos on diabetes and a host of other things on other life issues. So if you are going around, check some of those out and watch. And we are happy to have you as part of our family. And with that being said, I think we are done, right? There's no other thing. All right. So thank you again for watching. We'll see you again. We are thinking, we almost forgot, of maybe bringing a Thanksgiving show, maybe on Wednesday or even the Thanksgiving morning. You know how the rest is looking, the cooking may not allow it, but I may come alone if it doesn't work out, or we may work. But we definitely need to have another show before Sunday, so we'll see how it goes. But until then, we say that, beloved, we wish above all things that you prosper and be in health, even as your soul prospers. God bless you.
Thank you.